Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off this lesson by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Achad, Kadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Peace, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. And as the title entails, spiritual powers are not there for your vanity. Okay? Let's go into it. It says here in Second Corinthians, and I'll start at 6. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seemeth me to be, or that he heareth of me. So again, Paul having that humble mindset. Okay, Paul was Yahushua was supping directly with Paul. Okay, he had more visions. He was on a level. Okay, but he still didn't boast or was it didn't get to his head. Okay, the level of wisdom, as it says, wisdom puffeth up. Okay, Paul kept it on a humble. Paul had a humble mindset. Okay. So again, it says here, verse 7, unless I should be exalted above measure. Okay, so people boost you up, people gas you up. Oh, this is the guy that does miracles. This is the guy that this and that. Okay, he has a smart guy. He knows precepts. He goes into prophecies. Just as we don't want to be exalted. People say, oh, great lesson, shalom, oh, just powerful lesson. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Shai. Okay, all glory goes unto Yahweh B'Hashem Shai for putting the Spirit in us. To do these lessons, to have this knowledge, because again, wisdom comes from the Lord, comes from His throne. He's the one that sends us this knowledge. He's the one that puts in us the Spirit to do these lessons. Okay, so if you were to glorify someone or to worship or to reverence someone, it's Yahweh B'Hashem Shai. Okay, again, He's using us as a vessel. We're all tools either to do righteousness or to do evil. Okay, so again, don't glorify us. Glorify Yahweh B'Hashem Shai. Okay, again, and unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelation, because again, as I mentioned, the Lord was dealing heavily with Paul. Okay, giving him a lot of revelations, a lot of breakdowns, a lot of interpretations. Okay, rather a lot of answers. Okay, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh. There was given me a thorn in the flesh. So let me get that in a different version. Okay, let's see, 2 Corinthians 7. What is it? 2 Corinthians 12. 2 Corinthians 12. Let's see in the NIV what it says. Sorry, NLT. In the NLT it says, unless I should be let me search it. It says here, okay, verse 7, even though I have received much wonderful revelation from the Most High, so to keep me from becoming proud, again, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and to keep me from becoming proud. So again, the Lord sent a thorn in the side of Paul in order to keep him on a level, to remind him, in a sense, that he's just a man. He's just a vessel being used of the Lord, so that all that wisdom doesn't go to his head and that he thinks that he's better than what he really is. Okay, but again, he's a vessel chosen of Yahweh B'Hashem Shai to do these things. Okay, so we don't glorify ourselves; we glorify the Lord for using us to do these things. Okay, let me see in a different. Let's see in the NIV. NIV, it says, or because those surpassing great revelations. Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. So again, he was tormented in the flesh. That could have been an ailment. That could have been a sickness. Okay, that could have been deformity or whatever. It could have been whatever to keep him on a level, to keep him humble-minded, and that was all of Yahweh B'Hashem Shai. Okay, because again, you can get puffed up from having all this. For being exalted from the world, from being brought up, being quote unquote that guy. Well, he's the guy with all the revelations. He's the guy that the Lord is dealing with. It can go to your head, especially if you're too much in the flesh. Okay, so again, the Lord plagued them in the flesh to keep him humble so that he can be in the spirit and grow in the spirit so that it cannot go to his head. Okay, so let's go back to the NIV, to the NLT, select to the KJV, select it. Let me see, where is it? King James. So reading on verse 8. For this I besought the Lord thrice that it might depart from me. Okay, so again, Paul had understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. Okay, Paul could do miracles. Paul could send Satan upon people. Okay, Paul could heal. He could heal. He could chase away demons. He had spiritual powers. Okay, but he asked the Lord 3 times to heal himself, but he wasn't able to. It says what? And verse 9 it says, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. Okay, so don't worry about it. You're gonna deal with that ailment. You're gonna deal with that thorn on your side because my grace is sufficient for you. You're not gonna live by those, but you're not gonna live by your own power. You're gonna live through the grace that I give you. Okay, this knowledge that I give you, the fact that I keep you in the walk. Okay, that's Yahweh Ba'ashem. I was speaking to Paul and telling him like my grace is sufficient for you. Okay, you see, it says here, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. So he glories in the fact that he's weak. Okay? Because as it says, the members that are weak, let me bring that up. There's a whole, I'm not trying to read all this. The whole, I'm trying to get to the point. They, now here we go. 1 Corinthians 12, I'll start at 20, and it reads, that's the spirit, because that was the same chapter. Wow, that's the spirit. So it says here, the first that I read was 2 Corinthians verse 12, chapter 12, and this is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 20, and reads, But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, for again the head, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. Okay? And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon those we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but the Most High hath tempered the body together and hath given the more abundant honor to that part which lacketh. Okay? Let's read that in the NLT. Let's see. This one with the KJV. NLT. So it says here in verse 20, yes, there are many parts, but only one body. The eye can never say to the hand, I do not need you. The head can't say to the feet, I don't need you. In fact, some parts of the body that seem weakest and least important are actually the most necessary. Okay? The most necessary. It says the Lord maketh his strength perfect in weakness, as I read before. Okay? The Lord makes his strength perfect in weakness. Okay? So the parts that are the weakest among us are the most necessary, and the parts we regard as less honorable are those that we clothe with greatest care. Okay? So we carefully protect those parts that should not be seen, while the more honorable parts do not require this special care. So the Most High has put the body together such that extra honor and care are given to those parts that are less, that have less dignity. Okay, so again, the same way it goes with the body. Okay, just as a child, you would protect the child with your, if you have your child, you would protect yourself, you would protect the child regardless of the situation. Okay, you know the child is weak, he can't fend for himself, but so therefore you give extra care, you tend more to the child than even yourself. Okay, make sure that he eats, make sure that he's properly fed, they're properly clothed. Okay, make sure that he's protected. Okay, for the lack of words. Okay, because the children is weak and is dependent upon you. Okay, while you're stronger and you need to take care of the child doesn't take care of you. Okay, so the child is the weaker part. Okay, to put that into perspective. Okay, so again, in that sense, bringing it back to the topic of the lesson. Okay, Paul had power, had spiritual power, understanding, wisdom, and knowledge, but he still had a thorn in his flesh that the Lord put upon him to keep him humble. Okay, he had spiritual powers, but he could not heal himself. Okay, you see, because the Lord had put that messenger of Satan upon him to remind him that he's just a man, to keep him in that humble state of mind. Okay, so it says here. It says here in Matthew 25, Matthew 27 and 42. Let me start at 40. Let me start at 40. Matthew 25 and 40. And it reads, Matthew 27 and 41. Make sure it's 46. Matthew 27 and 41. And it reads, likewise also the chief priests mocking him, mocking Yahushua, and the scribes and the elders said, he saved others. He saved others, himself cannot save. He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the king of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. Okay? So Yahushua had spiritual powers. Okay, Yahushua is the Alpha and the Omega. Yahushua is the author and finisher of our faith. He had spiritual powers. But he was on the cross, and he submitted himself to the will of the Father. Okay? Being a lamb, being the sacrifice unto the nation of Israel. Okay, so these people, they mocked him. Okay? But Yahushua had the power. All he had to do was ask unto Yahweh. Okay? And he would have sent, as it says. Let me bring that out. And that's what Yahushua said in the Garden of Gethsemane. It says here in Matthew 26 and 53. Thinkest thou, let me read up a bit. Matthew 26, and I'll start at 50, see what happens. And Yahushua said unto him, friend, wherefore thou come? Then came they and laid hand upon Yahushua and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So Yahushua didn't have to go in this, so like I'll take that back. I speak as a man. If it was Yahushua's will, he wouldn't have to go through these things. He could have just asked. He had the opportunity. He had the possibility, and he had the opportunity and the possibility to call upon angels to come and deliver him. He would have called upon those angels and would have been delivered. Yahushua could have taken over the world in that time, in that instant, but he did not do it because it was the will of Yahweh. He submitted himself to the will of the Father. Okay, you see, he showed us obedience. Yahweh Shai came to show us obedience, and what happens when he showed us the path of obedience, and what happens when you walk that path. Okay, you look there. Then comes the honor. When you fulfill and when you finish, when you cross that finish line, then comes the honor. Okay, because when he died in the cross, he was raised up the third day. Okay, you see, that's what happens when you follow after Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Only good can follow after you, so that you can be, so that your latter end may increase. Okay. So yes, Yahushua had spiritual powers. Yahushua could have taken over the world if he wanted to, but he did not, because he submitted himself to the will of Yahweh, to the will of Yahweh. Okay, to show us again that spiritual powers is not for vanity. Okay, he could have done everything at his own time, but he did according to the law, according to the Lord's will. Okay? So again, thinkest thou not that I cannot pray? It's like, thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels. All he had to do was ask Yahweh for angels to come and deliver him, and the Lord would have sent them angels. That's how close that's how close Yahweh is to Yahweh Shai. Okay? And again, us through Yahweh through Yahweh, so like, and us through Yahweh Shai, we can have access to the same instances, man, to the same to our prayers. We can ask Yahweh for salvation, for help, for anything, basically. Okay, you see. But again, it all starts with faith. But bringing it back to the instance of the lesson, the spiritual powers is not for your own vanity. Yahweh had the opportunity, Paul had the opportunity, but the grace of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, is sufficient for us, man. So yes, we might catch hell. Yes, we might go through things. Okay, but the spiritual power is not for our benefits. It's the purpose of having spiritual powers is to exalt Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that so that His name may be glorified through us. Okay, the Lord may use you to glorify Him. It's not for your own vanity. Okay, as it says, if you glory in something, let me finish with this. Jeremiah 9 and 23, and it reads, Thus said the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exerciseth loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For these things I delight, said the Lord. Alright? So those are the things that we're supposed to honor and glory in. The fact that we have this knowledge, this truth, the fact that we have the names of Yahweh, the fact that we know His characteristics, as it says in Baruch 4. It says here in Baruch 4, Baruch 4 and 4, O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. So the things that please Yahweh, we know it. Okay? And if we obey, and if we understand, and we apply these things, who can be against us if the Lord be for us? Our power is a power that hateth iniquity. As it says, if you love, for those that fear the Lord, hate evil vehemently. Okay, with great passion, hate evil. Okay, and that's the mindset that we have to have. Okay, so again, the spiritual powers is not for our own vanity, but rather to praise and glory Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Alright, so with that, I'd like to give our honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Achakodash. Double honors are to our teachers, the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, teach everyone well. Peace, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom, shalom, shalom.